Yes, good evening, everyone. Today we are lucky to have some guests. I want to take this opportunity to invite them to the show. First, I want to give Brother Benson to say hi to our viewers as we start the show.
Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson here with you. I would like to say a word of hi to my fellow Kenyan brothers, and we welcome you to the show this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Miguda. Say hi to the viewers.
Hello everyone, I'm Nikuda. I've just joined the show. Kindly let us enjoy.
Very nice, Mr. Barak. Say hi to our viewers.
Hello and good evening, viewers. Nice to be here tonight, and I'm looking forward to a very interactive show. Just relax and enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Sasa asanteni sana. To our viewers, today we want to talk about so many political happenings that we've seen throughout the weekend. First, we've seen His Excellency the President was very particular today. He was addressing the young people, and the choice of words that he chose to use while addressing the youths were not very much welcomed by the young people. The young people are seeing it as a threat. Again, we've seen uh, His Excellency, the former Prime Minister, has also changed his stand. Sometimes back, he had accepted to have a conversation on behalf of the people. Uh, he wanted to ensure that he represents the people when having a dialogue with the president. We've seen of late he has changed his stand again. We've also seen some widening gaps within the ODM party, where some members of parliament are supporting and they are encouraging that we go for dialogue, while others are very particular. They're saying the issue of dialogue should be left to the young people, that the young people had started the journey, they should be allowed to be part of the dialogue. We've also seen in the Mount Kenya some members of parliament reminding the president that as much as he gave a list of the cabinet. Some of them are saying that the list that he gave has not been welcomed by some Kenyans, and so he should listen to the people. Yeah, so we have so many issues. First of all, I want to start with the remarks of the president today, and I would like to give each one of you a chance to give us what they think about the remarks of the president, where he was in Bomet. Before yesterday, he had also visited the place in Mount Kenya. And we've seen the president is very serious on this issue of demonstration, and is very particular. He's saying he cannot have a discussion with the group that has no leadership, a group that is formless. Mr. Mr. Benson, what's
Mhm.
your take on the remarks of the president today
Thank
while
you very,
addressing the young people?
thank you very much, Mr. Makobura. It is quite an honor to have me on the show. President is still not getting what Kenyans people want because President, from his speech alone, is still like somebody who is intimidating the Kenyan people, or I would call it the Gen Z, because he says very well that he doesn't know who are funding those who are funding the protest. Him himself, he knows. The other day he came out and said that the Ford Foundation was the people who are funding, and I hope and I believe President is one person who has a lot of intelligence, especially from the security team. So that is one. Secondly, the president is still not understanding, because one of the things that made people to go on the street was about the punitive taxes or the punitive bill. And if you really scrutinize the bill was not written by Kenya. The bill was IMF bill. And this bill, if you look it was enslaving Kenyans, putting Kenyans to suffer so much, and that's why this bill was rejected. And he still doesn't get it, even when he dissolved his cabinet. He still brought in the faces in. So why were you sacking them if you still bring them in? So I think president he need more time to listen. Yeah, to listen. If he can listen, that would be good. And that is my remark. I know with time I will also contribute.
Okay, very well. Mr. Miguda, what's your take on the choice of words that the president used while addressing the young people? He looked like someone who is hungered by the demonstration from the kind of words that he was using. He was kind of threatening the young people, if I may say so. What's your take on that?
I think Mr. President is still not listening. Why am I saying so? I think I would like to describe Mr. President's speech with maybe two statements. One, is a coward. Two, is playing victims politics. Why am I saying that Mr. President is coward? Why is it that he ran all along from Nairobi to Bomet to address Gen Zs? Why can't he just come to CBD and address Gen Zs at CBD? Because if he's a man enough, he ought to come to CBD, address us at CBD. Why is he going to address us at Bomet? And look at the crowd. Those were not, majority of the crowd were not Gen Zs, were our parents, the older generation. So Mr. President is a coward and is aware that he will send his police, he will send his KDF to attack people. That's why he's confident that he's going to finish Mandamano. Finishing Mandamano is not a solution. He ought to have addressed our issues before coming out bold, pretending to be bold, but in the real sense is a coward. Number two, why has he gone to Bomet to address the people of Kenya? He has gone to his backyard to play victim politics so that the people from his community can sympathize with him, that is their son, and the people are attacking their son. No one is attacking their son here. He's the president of the Republic of Kenya. If you want to address national issues that affect the people of Kenya, he ought to have addressed the people of Kenya, even in Nairobi. Nairobi is capital city. Every tribe is in Nairobi. So Mr. President should stop being coward and should stop playing victim politics. Mr. President should know that the issues are outlined very clearly. You ought to address them clearly. Let him not beat around the bush.
Thank you, Mr. Megoda. Mr. Barak, among the reasons why the young people are demonstrating, they were very clear. They told the president that the president should dissolve the power, should send home the cabinet secretaries because they felt that the cabinet secretaries that were in office were incompetent and that some of them were very corrupt as per the reasons they gave. The president did the right thing by sending home the CSS, but one thing that has also angered the youths is that he has recycled, he has reappointed among those cabinet secretaries that the people felt were not really right to occupy the offices that they were occupying. Mr. Barak, today we've seen that the president is now telling the youths that he did as per their instructions, that they said he sent home the cabinet secretaries and he did send them home, and that now the Gen Zs should not give him more ultimatums because he had heed to their call. What's your remark on what's your take on what the president was the words that the president used today while addressing the youths, and also his whole thinking of the whole situation?
Okay, thank you so much, Mark, for having me here. Okay, for me, I think I'll not say much about that because I believe the president was addressing a specific constituency, and the choice of his words depended with his audience. Therefore, politicians, they understand their audience and what their audience want to hear. So him going back to his backyard and telling them what he said, it resonates well with the people of that specific constituency. Therefore, his message was directed to those audience who are his main supporters and who will really sympathize with him. Politicians normally play victim very well, and Ruto has been a beneficiary of victim politics right from the 2013 when they played victim of ICC, and he was voted in as the deputy president twice. And 2022 he played victim, and he because of that, majority of people who voted for him because of that kind of politics. So he's a master of playing victim, and he can utilize that opportunity very well given a chance. Therefore, I believe because he's the national leader, the people must be told what he spoke about. But in the real sense, his message was for the people of Bonemet because that is his home, and those people wanted to hear exactly what he said. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Again, in the leadership and in the government of Kenya Kwanza, the deputy president has always been seen as a leader who doesn't really sugarcoat or the kind of words that he uses. I hear people call him the truthful man. He also calls himself the truthful man. And sometimes back, he was very particular on this issue of tribalism, and so many people have seen him as a tribal leader, especially when he made remarks that this government or the Kenya Kwanza government would only the people who would benefit are those who had voted for the government. But again, recently we've seen him using the kind of words that we've been using recently is trying to reason well, and also trying to is trying to tell the youth that they should now stop the mandamano because the president is trying to listen to them. For the first time, we've not seen him use the wordings that he used sometimes back. He's been appealing, and he's been kind of sympathizing with the youth. Mr. Meguda, what do you think has made the deputy to change his tone, especially when addressing the youths, and also when he's telling them to look for an alternative to listen to the president, as the president is trying to solve the whole issue? Do you really think it's a political game that he's playing because of the future politics, or is he just being a truthful man, the way he's always called himself?
I think Mr. Gachagua, being a truthful man, that is his own opinion. I don't believe him because he has not been consistent. If at all he could be a truthful man, he could be consistent. Why am I saying so? Look at the scenario whereby sometimes previously, when he was being denied things like chopper, he was not being given the treatment of a deputy president's stature. He accused the KK government. Right now, when the Gen Zs have put pressure and the pressure is increasing, he's again defending the same government. This is the same government which he was pretending that he was being mistreated. We saw even a certain drama when he was boarding KQ Mombasa with a certain bag. You saw that one. So Mr. Rigathi Gachagua is just playing his own politics for his own interest because he's aligning himself for 2032. That's why he's too much in Mount Kenya. He want to come with the whole of Mount Kenya. Once you have the whole of Mount Kenya in your basket, you will need one constituency for you to win presidency. So I can just say Mr. Rigiji is playing victimized politics, and it's just like Ruto. He's playing his own for his own interest, you see. And Mr. Rigiji, I understand that now is defending Mr. Ruto, but I will see it in this perspective, because the ODM told us that Ruto must go in 2023. Right now, Gen Zs are saying Ruto must go, and they are saying that if Ruto goes, Gachagua will take over. So I'm like, by the time Raila was telling us Ruto to go, was he aware that Gachagua will take over? You see, the way these politicians are acting, when it's their own interest, they come in. But when their interest is not being served, they opt out. So Mr. Rigiji is just the same like Ruto, like Raila. These are the birds of same feathers. They flock together.
Mr. Barak, what's your take on the remarks of the Deputy President? Of late, we've been seeing him trying to remind the youth to listen to the President and allow dialogue so that they would be listened to.
I think the deputy president was some time back accused of even funding the violence. I don't know if you remember that. And so when this demonstration started, he had now to start coming out clean and speaking now to directly to the young people who he believed that they have their grievances and they've made their grievances known. So for him, he's just trying to play that now he's sanitizing himself and he wants now to come clean. And you remember even when the cabinet was dissolved, the whole cabinet was not dissolved because the prime cabinet secretary remained there. And that was just to try to bring balance between Rigiji and his interest. As a politician, because politicians are all after their own interest, when he heard that Raila Odinga was warming up to to welcome his troops to the cabinet, as the deputy president, what do? That was going now to neutralize his powers downwards. Yeah. So he had now to come back and tell his people, this is our government, we voted in this president, and we must stay with him no matter what. So it will just try. It's just power that is playing here, and politicians they always come up with such statements when they want to maintain their interest in power. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Again, we've seen some wrangles within Azimio, and some times back, we saw some drama within the Azimio coalitions where they were having meetings, and then the ODM left with their troops. After them leaving the show, we saw some goons, and we are being told that there's a possibility that these goons were sent by the ODM group to disrupt the remaining Azimio, because they felt that the pressure that was going to be given by Kalonzo, they felt they were not really supporting that. That has caused so much political issues in the country. We've seen ODM party, from what we're seeing them, they want to get into government, and there's a rumor that they were given some slots of cabinet secretaries. We've seen them, members of parliament, and even the deputy governors or governors trying to fight for their two deputy party leaders. There is the governor of Kakamega and the former governor of Kakamega and the former governor of Mombasa. Their locals are trying to front them so that they be given this post of cabinet secretaries. Again, in the Nyanza region, you've seen one John Badi, the chairman of the ODM party. You've seen him coming out very strongly, trying to defend the government and the reasons why they think or they believe they want to unite with the ruling government to try negotiate or bring back peace, or according to what they're saying, they're trying the president is trying to do appointments which are reflecting the national unity. But again, this has come with so much political tension. Remember, Rahila, through his party, they had accepted the fact that they were joining Kenya Kwanza. They were getting into government. Yesterday, there were some rumors that the former prime minister had gone to meet the former president of the republic. And out of that, we've seen him come with a changed mind. He's now saying that even if it's a matter of leaving the issues of AU, he can decide to leave that and then come and try to rescue the Republic of Kenya and the young people who are fighting for their rights. Mr. Barak, His Excellency, the former Prime Minister, has been very persistent with this issue of African Union. Until yesterday, he was still very consistent and aiming high, but we've seen him divert his mentality. He's currently saying that he can even decide to forgo the issue of African Union chairperson and comes back to Kenya so that he may lead the revolution. What's your take on the sudden change of mind that we've seen the former premier make?
Well, I think Raila has found himself at a very difficult position with his interests of the AU chairmanship and also what's happening in the country. Because him being a statesman, it is not logical that you want to become the chairman of the African Union Commission while your own country is going through a political crisis. Because when you become the chairman of the AU, you become the number one diplomat of the AU. You become the chief executive officer of that commission. So you cannot be leading the United African Union Commission while your own country is going through crisis. On the other hand, working with the government that is sponsoring his candidature, is becoming now like an uphill task for him. So it's becoming very difficult for him as an individual. On the other hand, remember that that statement that he released, to me, I felt that he was sounding that he's doing someone a favor by vying for that position. I don't know who is this person, or by leaving that position, I don't know who is doing whose favor, because it is all about personal interest first, then the rest comes after. Because if he becomes the chair of the AU Commission, he's the one who is going to benefit. Then others are going to come after. So even if he misses that position, I don't know what role he wants to play in rescuing this country. The one that I don't know if he wants to vie again or what's going to happen. And if he's vying again, 2027, he's going to be around, I think 83 years or 82. I think 82 or 83 years old. I don't know if this country lacks capacity of leaders who can vie, even if he's not Ruto, because I think that he just needs to relax and just be sober. Because I think where we are heading as a country, there's some kind of people are just not sober. People are just talking. These politicians, exactly, they speak today, tomorrow they eat back their words. They speak different. They give different statements. The following day, they're just even confusing themselves. So I just want to appeal to the prime minister that he is a statesman of this country. He just need to focus and just continue with this AU. Let him go and Addis Ababa and get defeated there. Let him not withdraw and say that he was trying to rescue anything. As far as I'm concerned, he's now heading to 80 years old. He has done so much for this country. So where we are right now, we need a different direction so that we chart our way forward. Thank you.
Mr. Miguda, in the statements of His Excellency, the former premier, he was saying that they're trying to, since he's vying for this AU chairmanship, in his statement, we don't know whether it's the people in power in the Republic of Kenya, or we are not sure what he meant. He was saying that they're trying to use his bid to try change his stand and his stand, especially when it comes to the political happenings in the Republic of Kenya, and again, it's his stand when it comes to the revolution that is going on. What do you really think he meant, and what's your take on the whole thing, especially when we saw him change his mind?
Of late, I don't want to talk much about Raila because if you talk much about Raila, you might get confused or you might be a liar. Because Raila said that there was to be dialogue. Again, he said there was no dialogue. Again, he said there will be a government of national unity. So he keep on changing his mind, so you can't even follow him. I don't know advisors or age. So this issue of AU, I think Barak has tackled it very well. Let me talk about the issue, the wrangles in ODM, issue of John Mbadi and the likes of Orengo. You know, I don't want to talk about that AU thing because Raila is now making it, even if you are his follower, people will like Sifuna now. Sifuna, the other day, Sifuna was like, I'm Baba's diehard. Sifuna has lost almost 35% of votes in 2027 for Senate because of the statement. Because Raila will make you to lose popularity at this time. So I don't want to discuss much about Baba. Okay, the issue of ODM, wrangles in ODM is about succession politics. I think that's very normal because Raila is age, is going, whether he likes it or he doesn't like it, definitely is in his exit stage. So we must discuss about succession in ODM party. And in ODM party, I can say that there are three factors. There are the old guards, there are these young thugs, and also the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers are like Anyang' Nyong'o and James Orengo. The old guards are people like Junet, Mohammed, John Mbadi, Wycliffe Oparanya, Hassan Joho. And the young thugs are likes of Babu, Jalas, and other unelected youths who are there. So Mbadi, I don't like Mbadi politics, but at personal level, I like him. He's my friend. We even meet, and Kevin Makubri is aware, but is my close friend. But I don't like his politics. Why? Mbadi want to be given everything. You want to be uplifted and want to be kingpin. You can't be a kingpin when you are being uplifted. Mbadi is now nominated. It means he was never elected. The party gave him nomination ticket. He was even given the PAC chairman, Public Account Committee chairman. Now he wanted ODM again to lift him to be CS. You see, he just wants things to be given on a silver platter, and you want to be the low kingpin, or you want to succeed Raila. But he will not succeed Raila because of his nature of politics. Look at Babu Owino. Babu Owino was elected. Now he's warming up for Nairobi gubernatorial seat. He's going to be elected by the people. He's not being given these things. So Orengo, being an intellectual lagoon, so Orengo has seen that the youths are going to take over this ODM thing. So Orengo, being a gatekeeper, he has realigned himself with the youths. You see? So Orengo has realigned himself with the youth. That's why Orengo was saying that there will be no dialogue. The youths are saying there will be no dialogue. But now Mbadi is bitter because Raila has diverted. He has said that he's not going to give them CS position. Somebody want to fall with everybody, attack issue of
You can't
succession
hear me.
politics in ODM.
Okay, go
Can you hear
ahead.
me?
Yes, yes.
So the issue of succession in ODM, it was well crafted long time ago, and Babu Win is ahead of the game. It's just a matter of time. When events are unfolding, is the next looking pin. Because let me tell you one thing: the voice of the people is the voice of God. The Vox Populi, Vox Dei. So if people speak, it is God who is speaking, and a leader is emerging. You can't appoint for some people a leader. So he has emerged. So it's hard times somebody. He has to live that reality. No CS for position for him. Let him be national chairman for ODM, and we will see how we'll do our things as youth of this country.
Okay, thank you. My guests, Since the revolution started, since it was started by the youth 1 month ago, we've seen so many members of parliament coming out trying to start making their ways by being bold. Trying, most of them are now not following their principal or party leaders. Among them, we've seen the governor of Siaya. He differed with the stand of the ODM party and the party leader. We've also seen Babu Owino. He also differed with the stand of the ODM party. Of course, they know the casualties, and from what we've seen, political democracy has never been a thing in the Republic of Kenya. But since this revolution, of course, for the last few days, we've been seeing some political democracy where leaders are coming out bold and they're saying no to their masters. They are trying to start thinking or making decisions by themselves. Remember, in Lowland, if you try go against the party leader of ODM, it comes with political casualties or political problems. But we've seen these, the likes of Sia governor coming out boldly and saying, no, we are not going to support that and we are not going to be part of the government. So, Mr. Barak, I want to ask you this question. Again, in the Mount Kenya, the other day, that was yesterday, we saw the senator of Kiambu. He was with the president, but when he was given the microphone to address the people, he was very clear. He told the president that you have to listen to the young people. They said that you fired the CS, you fired them, but again, you've reappointed some of them. And he reminded the president that this is not really going well with the young people. He also told the president that if the young people still rejects the cabinet secretaries that he had appointed, he should appoint some until that day when the young people would give a nod to all the cabinet secretaries. Mr. Barak, does this really mean that we've started seeing a political realignment ahead of the 2027 general election? And what do you really think has caused this? Because in Kenya, we've seen this tendency where leaders are very much answerable to their political leaders. If you see a young man like the senator of Kiambu speaking in front of the president and telling him that he has to listen to the people, and he also reminded the members of parliament that if they start vetting and then they found some issues which are not really going to go well with the cabinet secretaries, they should reject them. What's your take on this bold decision by the members of parliament, some of the members of parliament coming out to differ with their political party leaders? Does it mean that democracy is now coming back? And does it mean that it's been brought by the young people, the Gen Zs? And where are we headed? Is it going to be there? Are we going to see this for some time, or it's just during this period of demonstrations?
Well, about Karongo Adhangu, I think if I listen to many politicians right now, majority of them are just playing populist politics. And I'm afraid that we might think that we have very good leaders at some point, but in real sense, they're just playing politics. This is populist politics. And there has been a supremacy battle between the Senate and the National Assembly. And when senators speak, because they know the vetting of appointees of the president does not fall under their docket, so they can speak about it very comfortably and accuse the National Assembly of not doing their work properly. And on the other hand, you find that in the past, since 2013, presidential appointments has always been rubber stamped by the National Assembly. Even this cabinet that was dissolved, it was just rubber stamped by the National Assembly. Even when they found out that there were some nominees who had very serious issues with the issues of integrity, issues of academic qualifications, so they find that they were just rubber stamping them. So I think it was also a reminder of the National Assembly that this time around, you must start doing your job diligently. When that list comes to your table, can you now vet these people and do your work without rubber stamping? If we find there's someone that the president has nominated and does not meet the qualification, can you just reject that name without without wanting to please the appointing authority, who is the president? So that was a very bold statement. But in terms of political realignment, I'm just going back to the difference that was there between the president and his deputy before this demonstration started. These politicians from Mount Kenya, they'd already divided themselves in two camps. One camp was for the president, and another camp was for the deputy president. And that thing is still going on. When you see the deputy president going somewhere, you will see those members of parliament, those politicians that are allied to him, they are still following him. And those who are not allied to him, they are also still keeping their distance. So it is just a political realignment between the interest of Mount Kenya and the president, who is also having his appointment in the mountain. But to hope that this Karongo Wadhangu, who just the other day was speaking a different language that has now seen the light, I am reluctant to see him in that direction. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Meguda, what's your take? We saw the governor of Siaya speaking boldly and saying they are not going to make that decision. They are not going to accept the decision that was made by their party, ODM. You know where the governor is coming from, and actually that is the home ground of the prime minister, that is the ODM party leader. What's your take? Does it mean that they've started seeing, since they're on the ground, they know what really is happening in the ground, and that is why they're having their own stance?
I think from his own sentiments, this is now the real James Orengo I used to admire when he was in the 10th Parliament. This is now the real Orengo, leave alone the one you have been seeing from 2017. That is the remnant of Orengo. But this current one, the statement, this is the Orengo I used to know. You speak your mind without fear or any contradiction. So that is Raila's backyard, Siaya County. And he's opposing Raila directly without any fear or contradiction. Raila should be told the truth. This ignorance of Baba is always right, Baba is never wrong. If rule number 2 fails, refer to rule number 1. That is bullshit. It's long gone because Baba is right and the people are being killed. Baba is right, people are being abducted. Baba is right, people have not gotten justice. So how is he right? So James Orengo, he has come back to the real Orengo we used to admire while we were in primary school. Now we can even endorse him for a second term governor because he has come out bold and called a spade a spade. That's why I told you, Orengo has decided to resonate with Gen Zs because he knows that anytime going forward, another Salimewa. So you must resonate with Gen Zs. If you cannot listen to us, even us will not listen to you. If you can't involve us in the discussion, as Babu, I want to quote Babu Owen, we will break that table. If you can't call us in that table, we'll come and break it. So Orengo, before we go to say and break that table, he has already consolidated us in that table. So Orengo is a genius politician. The problem has been this worshipping of Baba. Baba should not be worshipped. Even if you don't worship Baba in Nyanza, you are not going to be elected. But as we are lucky, by the time we'll be vying for this position, Baba will not be there. So we don't need to worship him. And we will not worship any leader. Even Babu Owino is our future leader. We are not going to worship him. If you cannot deliver presidency, we'll give way to other people who can deliver presidency. So sometimes as a leader, you need to be principled. You need to say what you mean and mean exactly what you say. You don't need to be moved by waves. You don't need to be a populist person, you see. You need to be someone who has his stand. That's how we are going to vet. For me, those people who are going to vote for, I'll vet them on those grounds, not party, not any other thing.
Okay, thank you. During the president to when he went to Bomet, we also saw him warn the media. But again, remember, we're in a country where the media has the freedom of reporting. There's freedom of reporting what is right, yes, but again, the people of Kenya has a right to get the news that they want to get. We've seen the president saying that, warning the journalist, and he was saying that they should not celebrate anarchy in their reporting. He also said that they should be responsible in their coverage. We never saw him refer to any specific instance where the media has allegedly crossed the line. But again, on this issue, I want to ask you, my brothers, we've seen even the journalists are being attacked in these demonstrations. But you know, the law is very clear. Journalists should not be attacked. They should be given time to report because they are the eyes of the people of Kenya and the eyes of the nation. We've seen instances where even journalists are being abducted. Now this brings me to this question. When Ruto was being sworn in, there's so many things that he promised to the people. Among them were the freedom that he promised that everyone would enjoy their freedom. He would respect the constitution. Uh, some among those young people who were killed, majority, especially those who were killed in Kitengela, when they were taken to the morgue, that is the city mortuary, some of them were booked, or they were said the report which was given there was that some of them were killed by the mob, some of them were killed by the accidents. But the media has been very, very bold. They have come out and said clearly, they have reported, and they have also, the ones who have discovered that truly some of this information that was written there, especially concerning the people who are killed by the police, are wrong. But now the president is telling them that they should not report such kind of things. Where are we going as a country? Does it mean that we are going back to where we came from, that is the Moi era? What's your take, Mr. Barak, when it comes to the freedom? Are we really enjoying the freedom when it comes to freedom of media, freedom of expression, or the president is trying to stop us from enjoying these freedoms that the constitution is very clear that we should be having?
Well, when it comes to media, I think since Ruto became the president, apart from that statement, we have not seen any media house being shut down like it happened during Uhuru regime. But I believe the media has their own code of conduct. They have their media council that regulates them, and they know what being a responsible media house is all about. And I believe in those journalists that air the news, being live or recorded, they know what guides them. And I think the constitution is very clear that, in any democracy, the freedom of media is very key, because once media freedom is threatened, even the democracy of that particular society is threatened. Therefore, we will not wish to go back to a scenario where media house is threatened or shut, or journalists are attacked when they are doing their work, because that is now the one of the architects of democracy. So we must protect our democracy by ensuring that all media houses operates without any threats or without any violence melted against them when they are at work. Thank you.
Miguda, what's your take on that?
Um, I just want to give you a little bit of history about freedom of media. Next time, just find time you create for me so that I come here and discuss about freedom of media. It can take 3 hours. During French Revolution, there was a certain French philosopher by the name somebody Burka. So there were executive, judiciary, and legislature. There were 3 states. So the reason, the historical background, the naming of media as the members of the fourth state originated from that philosopher by the name Burka. Because during the French Revolution, media play a major role to publish the public enemies, those who are perceived to be public enemies. They were the media is the one who played a major role to publish them, their images, and they were being guillotined in Paris, what is termed as the Paris razor. They were being guillotined. They were being killed. You see. So from that point, Burka saw media other than the executive, legislature, and judiciary. It also can play a role to put government on check for accountability and also to publish wrongs that the government is doing for the people. That's why they named it the fourth state. So in Kenya, we have freedom of expression and freedom of speech, provided it is limited on the grounds that you are not allowed to propaganda for war, you are not allowed to spread hatred, you are not allowed to incite for violence. So provided the media is airing our opinions and there's no propaganda for war, there's no incitement for violence, there's no hatred, there is absolutely no one can control whatever they are going to air. So freedom of media has been there since those times of French Revolution, and media aid the French people to identify public enemies, and they were made to accountable through guillotine. So you can try to control this mainstream media. What about social media? You can't. In fact, social media is now worse. You can't control even propaganda for war. You can't control incitement for violence. You can't control hatred. So you can keep your mainstream medias. You can close them, but you know the revolution will be televised. It can be televised through phones, iPhones. We are jumping tunaingia kwa Uber, then KFC. Revolution will be televised. So freedom of media should not be tampered with. That is my statement.
Okay, thank you. We've seen a list. We've seen the young people have released a list of how they will be demonstrating in the coming weeks, and this has gone very viral. And we've also seen so many groups like the Media Council. We've seen so many groups threatening to also go for demonstration. Yesterday, we saw Kenyans living in the United States of America that gone to demonstrate at the headquarters of the IMF, and they were very particular. They were saying that the IMF should not impose or dictate to the Republic of Kenya on how they should be collecting taxes, and uh, they should not advise the president to increase taxes because the taxes are really becoming a serious issue. The people of Kenya are saying no to the high taxes. In this situation where everyone is going for demonstration, and again, with the words of the president, remember he said that this group of demonstrators, they are leaderless. He also believes, or he thinks that they are formless. Uh, what's your take, my guest, when it comes to the issue of demonstrations? We've seen, from what I've seen circulating in the social media, there would be a demonstration as from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and there's this call that everyone should come out and be part of these demonstrations. what what's your take on this demonstration which has been called by the young people, and do you really think they will come out to go for these demonstrations? And if they come out for the demonstrations, we've seen they have also threatened to go back to the parliament. They have also threatened to occupy JKA. They have also threatened to. They have said that they will gather at the Uru Park. My question to you: do you really think they will manage? Uh, Looking into the kind of words that the president used, he was very particular. He said, "We are not going to allow any demonstration, distraction, and that they are ready, meaning his government is ready to fight to fight back to ensure that there is no any demonstration. Mr. Barak, do you think the people of Kenya or the young people will manage to get to the street to continue with the demonstration? And if this continues, where are we as a country? Where what is the end goal? You are muted. Kindly unmute.
Oh, sorry. Thank you so much. I just saying that the last statement that you say that where is the end goal of all this? That is the most important thing that should come into the mind of every Kenyan right now. The young, the old, everybody. What is the objective of all this? Where is it going? Where is it taking us as a country? And I believe that is now where many people are missing the point. Because if you listen even to the politicians who are saying no to everything right now, they are taking advantage of this calls for demonstration for their own, hoping that things will go this direction, and at the end they will benefit from it. Because everybody is positioning themselves to benefit. So that question of where is the end game in all this demonstration, everything that is happening? What is the objective? And we are setting, my opinion is that we are setting ourselves up for a disaster as a society. Because, number one, when we don't have a clear end goal of what we are doing, things might go any other way and we might all suffer the consequences. The president was sworn in and he took oath of office. And you understand, being the head of state and the head of government, he took oath to protect the interest of the state. And what are the attributes of the state? Population, sovereignty, legitimacy, government that is recognized by the international community. And once any of these attributes are threatened, the head of state will come out to defend using all those that are at his disposal. He has the military, he has the police, he has everything. Now, the population can come out and occupy any place in masses. It happens. But now, the end game it will not be business as usual. Because we might end up having situations that are not in the constitution, which will now have to ensure that now we rewrite the constitution afresh. Once a democratically elected government is toppled by the electorate, what happens? That vacuum, when we create that vacuum, anybody can take advantage of that vacuum and exploit it to their own interest. Therefore, it's always good to understand that what we want is A, B, C, D, and we know when we reach at Z, we've achieved our objective. But in the absence of that, we just come out and say, occupy everywhere, Ruto must go. We can force him out of office. It is possible. Because when millions and millions of people march to State House, you cannot kill everybody. It's not possible. It has happened in other countries, but with unique with unique circumstances. For example, we are giving examples of Egypt. What happened in Egypt? In Egypt, Hussein Mubarak had stayed in power from 1981 to 2011 when he was toppled. This guy was he overthrew the government when he was coming in, and he declared a state of emergency in Egypt for all that time. If you look at another country like Libya, the then Muammar Gaddafi came in power when he was, I think, 1967, around there, and he was toppled in 2012. So you find out that the circumstances are different. Here in Kenya, the constitution says that we will have regular elections after every 5 years. In between, unless the president is impeached or he dies in office, there are provisions of replacing him that are written in the constitution. Now, if we get him out of office before 2027, what happens? Obviously, Gachagua cannot take over in that scenario because they came in as a pair, which means they go as a pair. Now, what happens? Who will take over until 2027, and what constitution will govern that scenario? So we have to come up with very clear end goal, because in the absence of that, and I think that is where the problem is, because majority of people don't want to listen to any voice of reason at this point. Because when you start asking question, what next? You cannot tell us that Ruto must go, then Gachagua. It's not possible, because they came up as a pair. They came in as a pair. They must go as a pair. Yeah. So in the absence of the two, the constitution does not give any room for election right now, even with the minus IBC. So we cannot hold election right now as it is. So I believe, as a concerned citizen of this country, that this country belongs to all of us, and let us ask ourselves very difficult questions. In the absence of A, what happens? In the absence of B, what happens? And if we manage to occupy Uhuru Park and march to State House and remove Ruto from State House, what happens? Those are the questions that we must be able to answer at this point. And that's why you see people who are opposed to Ruto in 2022 elections, the likes of the people of Azimio, let me just say the people of Azimio and the civil society, everybody is saying he must go, but nobody is able to answer what will happen then. So because this country belongs to all of us, can we just be sober and address this issue of what is the end goal of all this? Because if we're not able to address this issue of the end goal, then we'll be playing with a coin inside a pit latrine. Thank you.
Thank you. Miguda, what's your take? The leaderless young people have given a list of how they're going to do their demonstration. What's the end game, and how are they going to manage this?
I think our guest, Barack, if Meguna, the general, could have listened to him, he could have given me one simple answer: that focus. Don't worry about what will happen the end game. You just focus. So let me dive in. And the issue of occupation of maybe public utilities, I think I don't like this culture of tyrant and despot leaders in Africa. Because when we are saying we are going to occupy, by the time we occupy parliament, when we breach parliament, the people who banned section of parliament were not us. I can say that with certainty. Those people are going to mandamano with the intention of banning something or stealing or beating other people. Those people are not part of the protesters. The police should be at a point to distinguish between a protester and a criminal. Because you can't jointly be accused of something if you have not done. So I like to go to West Africa because Mbarak has given us an example from North Africa. I think he has talked about Egypt, North Africa. Let me go to West Africa. By the time Thomas Sankara was assassinated, I think he was assassinated by his deputy by then, Blessed Campore. Blessed Campore became the president for Burkina Faso, formerly known as the Upper Volta, for 27 years. When the youth marched to the capital and banned section of parliament, Blessed Campore was forced to flee, and Ibrahim Traore took as the president of Burkina Faso. Currently, Ibrahim Traore is trying to get back Burkina Faso the trajectory of Thomas Sankara. So he want to put Burkina Faso on the map of where Thomas Sankara wanted it to be. So this issue of what is the end game, what is your plan, I think people are very clear. Provided there is good governance, no one will be even interested in occupying those places. Mr. Ruto should act very swiftly as the President of the Republic of Kenya right away and make actions as soon as possible for him to convince the people. The reason why he's not convincing us anymore, because, right, look at it. He dismissed cabinets, he has recycled them again. So let him just be honest and act swiftly, make drastic changes, and people will not occupy those public utilities. We are not interested to remove him. We are just saying we want accountability for good governance. So the same way the West African people, when Blessed Campore was just away from town, currently is facing charges, and people want him to answer why did he kill his friend Thomas Sankara. So even this president of Chile, former president of Chile, he also committed crimes against humanity. He tried to run away, and he was arrested by Interpol, I think in the England, and he was charged in Spain. So this issue of you acting with excessive force because you are in power, thinking that you will be scot-free, these laws are applicable, my friend. The issue of international human rights law is very applicable. Even let me come to this domestic example. The previous Mandamano for 2017, when this baby Pendo was killed, the commander who was in that operation currently is at Milimani Law Courts. If you go to Milimani Law Courts, you will meet the person who was in that operation, the commander. He's himself in that court. Uhuru Kenyatta is not there helping him. Mutiambai or Ajiboynet is not there helping him. So I'll just advise these police enforcement officers, act within the law. The law does not say that you kill. The law say you protect. And also, you are a police to provide service, police service, not police force. They should provide service to the citizens. They should not apply force to the citizens. That's my take.
Yes, thank you. On this same issue of the Gen Zs or the young people and the ultimatums that they gave the president, and also the list of demonstration or the places that they would visit. Uh, we've seen, we are Kenyans, we've been here for quite some time. We've normally seen so many instances where either cabinet secretaries in charge of security, when demonstrations are going on or happening, they always come out and try to threaten the people. And the more they come out to threaten the people, the more they come out to tell the people that they should not try. If they try, they're going to see fire. That is when we've always seen a majority of people coming out to demonstrate. Today, the president was very clear, and the choice of words he used were also very clear. Does it, in a situation where majority of youths come out, because remember that the majority youths are the majority in the Republic of Kenya, and we've seen they've been coming out for these demonstrations in large number, and most of them, truth be told, the reason why we've been seeing distractions in the Republic of Kenya is majority of young people are jobless. They actually own nothing in the Republic of Kenya. They simply live hand to mouth. And so when they get out to go for these demonstrations, they don't always care whether they are whether they are doing wrong things or not. We've seen so many instances where they've been breaking into shops. They've been banning state house. I mean state offices. Do you really think the president coming out very clearly to I would, let me not say to threaten, to use the choice of words that he used, that we've been in social media, we've seen now people are trying to talk about it. So many youths in social media are actually saying that the president was threatening them. And that has really angered so many of them. They're saying they're going to come out. In a situation where they then come out, most of them, and then they meet the police, of course, there are going to be casualties. And we pray and we hope and we want to remind those people in the security forces that whenever they're going to try stop this demonstration or try to interact with them, kindly let them follow the constitution, because whenever they break the constitution, the people of Kenya shall come. I mean, the law, each one of them would be answerable. But I wanted to ask you this question, Mr. Barak. If the president has been this clear that if you come out, I will deal with you. And remember, from what we've seen, the level of consistency and seriousness in these young people. Do you really think they've received very well the words of the president? And if suppose they come out and then they see some of them have been either abducted or mishandled by the police, of course that would anger them and they would come out aggressively to defend or to fight back. Are we really headed to the right direction as a country? Because with this and with the comments of the president, this is really fueling these young people. And it's really we are going to get to a point where no one is then going to retract. No one is then going to say no. But we are going to see a group of young people who are very aggressive to anything that they are going to meet on their way. What's your take on this? Do you think the president really used the right words, knowing very well the kind of people we have in the Republic of Kenya and the youths who have nothing to lose? Whenever they come out, they actually want, from what we've seen, the kind of wording that the president used. That is what really unites them. That is what really accelerates them. That is what really fuels them.
Well, I
Is it?
think,
Yes, go
pardon?
ahead.
History has proven that the more you become so hard on demonstrators, the more they come out in large numbers, and the
Yes,
more
yes,
they
that's
demonstrate with
what I
vigor.
meant. Yeah.
Yeah, so being so hard on demonstrators will not stop them from demonstration. The only challenge that I have with I don't know if you've seen how these thieves they know how to position themselves, and they know how to target specific shops or supermarkets or anything. So these people who are taking advantage of the peaceful demonstrations to come out and steal from other Kenyans, that is where the problem is. And I believe that is now what you find that sometimes tarnishes and the image of demonstration. So I don't think hard hitting talk from the president will deter anyone who want to demonstrate. In fact, it might even bring out big numbers from those who wanted to stay at home and say, okay, now they usually say come and buy and buy. So I think it is time to tone down. All comes to tone down, because talking hard, the other side there are guns and there are police, there are many things, and the other side we have people who are saying we are peaceful, we are peaceful, we are peaceful. And inside people who are peaceful, we have people who are unknown, who come to position themselves to loot, to steal, and to destroy property. So it is time for people to tone down, the president to tone down, just as his deputy is doing. Tone down, speak to the people, not at the people. Acknowledge that you are, it's like the father of the house. When you start threatening your children, if you find that sometimes even children might start coming up with other ways to show defiance, not because they want, but because they also want to acknowledge their autonomy. So that hard hitting statement from the president is not doing anything good to the current state. In fact, it is fueling, it's like igniting people who are waiting for Tuesday to come out in large numbers. Therefore, my appeal is for them to tone down, and so that we can have a conducive environment to discuss and to chart the way forward for this country in a conducive environment. Thank you.
Migude, what's your take on that? The hard statements of the president vis-a-vis the thinking of the young people and their stance.
I don't think there is hard stand for the president there because president is possessed too much with destruction of properties than loss of lives. Whenever he want to speak, he starts with properties were destroyed, properties were destroyed. He's forgetting that lives were lost. It's too much process this destruction of properties than lives lost. That's why in my beginning I started that president is coward. If he's not a coward, why can't he come and occupy Kenyatta Avenue or Moi Avenue or Tuesday? Let him come and occupy JKIA. He knows that he is being protected with presidential rec elite squad, so he can speak anyhow. There's no hard stance for Mr. President. Let him just be so. It's not that he's a coward because at personal level, he might be a brave man, but he's coward because as the presidency, he has lost legitimacy. There's no legitimacy in his presidential staff. But personally, we know him. Ruto is a ruthless human being. He's brave. He's not coward. But the presidency in him is coward because he has lost legitimacy. He knows very well that he's being guarded with the KDF, Kenya Police, the Reke Elite Squad, so he can speak at the hard stand. If you come out, you will see me. If you come out, no, just be sober. You are a president. You are elected democratically at the ballot. There's no hard feelings here. Just just relax, come out, address your people. Eh? Don't put much pressure because those much pressures, the way my colleague have said, they're just the pressure will increase, and when the pressure increase, we are not going not only to reject but also to inject. You will find us occupying JKIA, and by the way, occupying JKIA is very easy because those are gates of Nairobi. You don't know where people will come. You'll find people occupying all Eastern bypass. So Mr. President should just calm down. He's the president. There's no threat to his presidency. Let him just come out and address people. Let him just act swiftly with action, reduce pressure. Because if he increases pressure, we are going to reject and inject. And you know, when we inject, we might not only breach parliament, but we will occupy the state house.
Okay, thank you. Maybe last remarks uh, concerning the whole discussions that we've had. I'll give each one of you to give a final remark. Tomorrow is Monday, and you've seen there's a list. From the list you've seen, Mandamano will be starting us from next week. What's your advice to the people in leadership and the advice to the young people who are who are trying to express their grievances and who feels that they're not being understood by the people in leadership? Mr. Barak.
Well, I think where we are at now, I think there's so many interest groups that are already benefiting a lot from the current status. They have so many political players who are or positioning themselves to take advantage of the current status so that they can benefit themselves. So I just want to, my humble appeal is that let us all be sober. Let us not lose our focus. Let us not get our eyes off the goal, and at the same time ensure that this country belongs to all of us. Whatever we want in this country is good governance, accountability for all elected and appointed leaders. As long as you occupy public office, we must hold you to account. And we want people to serve this country, serve the citizens of this country. You are not a master but a servant. This idea of people feeling that they are big when they move around with flags, they feel that now they own everything. That feeling must come to an end, and we must have people occupying offices with clear understanding that they are servants of the people. When you visit these public offices, you visit there as the employer of these people. You are the one who has employed them. Therefore, you are going there so that they can serve you. That must sink to everybody who is servicing the public, who occupies the public offices. And to the young people, let us agitate and advocate for good governance in this country. And let us understand that this country belongs to all of us. And let us not entertain any actions or activities that are going to put our country to the trajectory of disaster. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Miguda. What's your final remarks?
My final remarks, I would like to direct to Mr. President, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. You are the President of the Republic of Kenya. You are the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. You are the one who is responsible to hire, fire both Cabinet Secretaries, Judiciary, through recommendation by Judicial Service Commission. You preside over our national holidays. You address our Parliament every 1 year through the State of Nation address. So take full charge. You are in control. You are the pilot. Kindly be responsible and do not allow your police to kill a body. You know, if you kill a body, you might need a body to vote for you 2027. So do not allow a body to die, Mr. President. Just be in charge because you are a symbol of national unity. Try to act on your roles and functions. You are the head of state and you are the head of the government. Kindly do not allow a police to destroy a life of a body because a body might vote for you 2027. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Before we end the show, allow me to say thank you to Mr. Victor, Silas, Judith, Brenda, Kivumbi, Gypsy Corner, Mr. Paul, and everyone who was watching. If you're new here, kindly like and subscribe. Our main reason why we are always here is to remind the people of Kenya of where we've come from and where we are headed. Ours is just to remind the people in leadership of their role, and so that they may be accountable to the people of Kenya. And also we also give chance to young people to give their opinion and what they think. Allow me to say good night, everyone, and thank you for your time. Bye bye until next time.